Next up, we've got one man's fight for the right to repair broken MacBooks.
Oh.
You know how much of a fan I am of this story, even if I'm not a fan of having a MacBook. But this guy, Louis Rossmann, has a YouTube channel where he takes videos of himself fixing things.
Yeah.
And he's amassed 1.5 million subscribers.
Yep.
And I think the funniest part of this article was the fact that if there's people, he's got a repair shop.
Right.
And so if somebody comes in and they can't afford the repair that he's quoting them, he'll just point them to, go sit down over there. There's a screwdriver. You can just fix it yourself. Like, that's okay. Like,
I'll even give him access to a computer to look it up. Like, go look up the video, go fix it yourself. And if you can fix it yourself, it's free.
Yeah. You don't have to pay anything. It's fine.
I kind of love that.
He's obviously like an evangelist for this thing. And so it's funny because he says that if other people are watching the videos of him fixing the thing in his shop, he'll tell them to turn it off because he thinks they're awful. He doesn't like his own videos. He hates hearing them. He hates seeing them. He does not like his own videos, but he keeps making the videos, which is awesome.
What I loved was the part about how he learns how to fix these things because he's self-taught. Yeah. And basically it says like he goes and buys a device and then he smashes it. And then he curses about it, and then he fixes it, and then he smashes it again, and then he fixes it, and then he smashes it and goes and gets another device and does it all over again. It's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So he just basically breaks it and fixes it and does it until he figures out kind of all the nuances. Yeah. But I don't know where he is, but he was a part of a lobbying effort. He is a part of a lobbying effort to pass a state law. It looks like I think it's in Massachusetts, to pass a law where it would require manufacturers to make their products more accessible for people to self-repair those devices. And, if you're on any spectrum of things towards like, you're environmentally conscious, or you're want to save money or, so many other things. Like, you've got to be a fan of this.
So,
right?
So I will tell you, So number one, I am definitely a fan of right to repair. I always have been. I always will be. There are nuances to this though. So for example, I did break my iPhone screen and I did not take it to an Apple authorized repair place. I took it to an unauthorized place. And the first screen I got replaced on there literally was not functional. Like I couldn't swipe. It was crazy. The phone was acting nuts. I took it back. You put it on another screen. Yeah. Okay, this works. But now, and I think I know what you're going to say, and I don't use it anyway, but FaceTime doesn't work on it because of replacing the screen, which is super strange. So it's like, it almost feels like there's weird things that could be some weird trade-offs is all I'm trying to say.
Is that a software thing? Like, does everything else work?
Everything else works. Yeah. Everything else works.
It seems like maybe Apple is penalizing you.
That might be true.
Having an author. So
that might be true. Yeah.
What you just described is an argument for right to repair.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because then they'd make it easier to repair so that thing wouldn't happen. That's a great point. Okay.
So your first screen should have worked. But that shop, because it's not authorized, is having to do this whole rigmarole of getting screens and whatnot.
That's true. All right. You're right.
You just
proved
right. the point.
This is why we have these conversations. Okay. All right. Well, listen, speaking of points that I love to prove, survey asks employees at top U.S. companies if they'd give up $30,000 to work from home, and the answers may surprise you. So listen,
I don't think they will surprise you.
Oh my gosh, these numbers are amazing. I'm just going to read the quote from this article, and then we can just dive in. So here's the quote. About 64% of Amazon workers who answered the question preferred permanent work from home, as well as 62% of Microsoft employees and 67% of Google employees. Apple employees would rather take permanent work from home over $30,000 at more than 69%, and Salesforce employees at 76%. Oh my gosh.
So you know what this article says to me is that this is basically a ranking of companies where people don't like their coworkers.
It absolutely is. Yes, it is. I was thinking that. Yeah. So Salesforce sucks.
If you like your coworkers, like $30,000 is not enough to be like, no, I don't want to see them, or I do want to see them, or whatever. Right. So,
well, but it's not just that, right? It's also lifestyle, because like when you work from home, you gain back. I mean, the average commuter is going to gain back over an hour a day. Like out of 24 hours, that's a ton of time.
Yeah.
And over a week, that's a ton of time. And so I think that's a big part of it. That, I mean, wardrobe expenses go down because, I mean, hey man, you can just wear shorts on the bottom and nice shirts on the top, you know? So like that goes down. I mean, a lot of expenses
not nice shirts on the top because it's just okay. You just do your thing.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, so I think, I mean, so many expenses go down for the individual, and I don't know that it offsets $30,000, but it is telling that a majority, and not even a small majority, but a large majority of people would rather work from home and have that freedom and that flexibility rather than make more money. And I mean, and I think everybody listening to this, that, I mean, listen, if you have an office, that's great. If you like the whole office culture thing, I get it. I've done it. I've been there. But work from home, I mean, man, it is on the rise and will continue to be for a long time.
And I think we've said it before, but you know, we used to meet up in person.
Oh yeah.
For recording Tech Talk Y'all.
Oh yeah.
This whole pandemic, we've been doing remote. Not that I don't like seeing you. I do like seeing you.
I love seeing you in
person.
Yeah, but this is great.
This is actually kind of nice.
It's great. It's so great.
Like even today, we were able to reschedule the time of recording by, you know, shifting it around and not have to worry about like, oh, I already drove there. I'm already there. Yeah. You know, or anything else like that. It's so nice.
Yeah, there's no dead time.
Adds more flexibility. So talking about things that aren't flexible, I guess, Google gets the green light to build a multi-billion-dollar mega campus in San Jose. And clearly, they did not read the previous article that we just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, There
you go.
I had to tag this because it just seems so strange to me that, especially as things shake out post-pandemic, right? And we don't really know where some of these companies are going to land with work from home or whatever. It seems so strange to me to plan a multi-billion-dollar campus when obviously a huge percentage of your employees would rather be at home. So I mean,
67% of the Google employees. Yeah. By the way, I think I told you before we started recording, we were out and about today for the first time in like ever during this pandemic. Right. We were driving around Atlantic Station and I knew that this was coming, but I didn't realize it was right there. But we saw the buildings that have the Microsoft name all emblazoned on the little campus that they're building there. Mm-hmm. And my wife and the kids were like, oh, what is this? I was like, oh yeah, that's the new Microsoft campus coming in. And we started talking about all the companies that are coming into Atlanta, and it's getting hot here. Yeah. Right. Tons. Like, man, this is the time. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta,
now's the time.
You should do it now.
Now's the time.
Because I think house prices are going to go through the roof and it's going to get harder and harder to have a place here. So.
Already are going through the roof, my friend. Already are.
You ain't
All right.
kidding.
Well, speaking of things that, I don't know, maybe aren't going through the roof. Tesla tests.
They're going on the roof.
They're going on the roof. Tesla tests Luminar sensor. Musk scorned as a quote fool's errand. So just to back up. So every other autonomous driving company uses LiDAR. Every single one. And LiDAR is expensive.
And just in case you don't know what LiDAR is, it's using lasers. It's essentially like radar with lasers. So it uses a laser that spins very fast around and makes a three-dimensional map in near real time of everything that's around a car. So it's not just radar just figuring out the depth of stuff away from it. It's actually figuring out three-dimensionally what is around a car. Okay,
that's right. And so Musk has scorned this for years, saying all you need are cameras. You don't need LiDAR. LiDAR is too expensive. It's not practical. It's not going to work. And now in the field, suddenly Tesla is testing a Luminar sensor, which is LiDAR. So it'll be really interesting to see where this goes. I mean, I see Musk's point. I always have that, you know, visually a human drives in with only visual cues. So you should theoretically be able to get there with AI and everything else. At the same time, LiDAR is going to map so much better than anything visually ever would. It almost seems silly not to do it, especially as the cost continues to come down, as it is bound to do.
Yeah. So I mean, part of the point of having self-driving vehicles is for the vehicle to be much, much better than the human being. Much better. And so with LiDAR, it can see things that there is no way we can see with the human eye.
That's right. That's right.
So why would we not take advantage of this, right? Why would we not make cars and vehicles safer right? To be able to detect the pedestrian that's on the side of the road, that's not wearing something reflective, that's not in a lit area, that's going to start walking and cross the street in front of your vehicle. And then there's going to be a bad accident because of that, right? Like, why would we not do that? Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. You know what's going to happen here is they're going to announce that they're doing it, and Musk is going to be like, well, I said all that stuff to help drive down the cost.
Oh, that's totally what he's going to say.
And so I always believed in it. Yeah. But it was just because of that. It was too expensive. And I thought my words would help drive down the cost because people would stop using it and then we could just have a lock on it or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Some crazy explanation like that.
That's crazy.
Talking about something that's not a crazy explanation and is kind of awesome. Anker's tiny 65-watt gallium nitride charger compresses a laptop charging brick to a size of an ice cube. And what's funny about this is just today, we were talking about this in the car. My kids and I, we were talking about them needing a charger or something. I was like, yo, you know what? Anker has just put one of these out and it's tiny and maybe we need to get this. And I think we're going to end up buying one of these probably.
Man, this could have been a tech rack, but I mean, there was an article about it. And I'm such a big Anker fan anyway.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, okay, so most laptop chargers are kind of ginormous. Like they're just big and beefy. And I saw this thing and I'm like, it's like the size almost
tiny
of like the little iPhone, the things you used to get with the iPhones. Like it's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those for sure. That just looks amazing. So I love their stuff.
This works if your laptop is powered by USB-C.
Yep.
So you've got to have a USB-C powered laptop. But the beauty, I think, of this thing is that means also anything else that you have that's USB-C powered, like your phone, maybe your camera.
Yep.
All of it can get powered by this same tiny little brick. So thinking about, one of these days when you start traveling again and go on flights, you could potentially just take this tiny little thing.
Yep.
And if you're sitting in the airport, you can power up your laptop, power your phone, power your one at a time, of course, but still kind of awesome.
It is kind of awesome. Yeah.